Let's pause for a moment. Can you think of anything more important than sharing a clear, child-friendly gospel presentation? Me either. The gospel presentation is the most important part of the outreach event. The ministry team leader ensures that the team members sharing the gospel attended an OCC ministry training and is well trained. They should practice, 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 practice. Because this is so important, at every OCC ministry training, we will give time to practice and share feedback to one another. But gospel presenters should take more time to prepare and pray before they host an outreach event. Let's celebrate the ministry guide. This is a great resource for you and for every ministry partner team to prepare. It's a great planning tool. Hold up your ministry guide and turn to page 51 with me. Let's talk about effective discipleship.
We hope that children are introduced to Jesus at the outreach event. But even more than that, we hope that children begin a life of discipleship to Jesus. After all, this is the commission that God has given to us, the church, not just to make converts, but to make disciples. The Greatest Journey is a 12-lesson discipleship program that invites children to a deeper relationship with Jesus. Now let's look with me at page 50 in your ministry guide. You will see here on this page that there are 3 sections of the Greatest Journey: know the gospel, grow in the gospel, and share the gospel. There's also a welcome lesson that serves as a bridge between the outreach event and TGJ lesson 1. Children will hear the same gospel presentation they heard at the outreach events. Would all of you wonderful teachers who will be teaching the Greatest Journey raise your hand again? Very well. Now, these other pages are very important for you to pay attention to. Page 51 highlights the heart of a teacher and what that looks like. You see here on this page that teachers prepare God's people to serve. Teachers are an example of Jesus, and teachers stay connected to Jesus. I would also like to draw your attention to page 52 and 259. Now, page 52 to 59 is a resource section for teachers as you prepare to disciple children. There's a page that walks you through how to lead a child through faith, and a page that outlines what it looks like to create your own Bible lesson as you continue to disciple children even after the 12 lessons. Spend some time reviewing these pages and learn about these tools that can support you. This is the Greatest Journey student book. As I flip through this book, you will notice that it is full of colors. Wow. Man, I know children are going to love this book. Now, I also like to draw your attention to some sections of this book. You'll notice that Bible stories are outlined in red. You'll also notice that the book has many activity pages, and there's this wonderful stories in every lesson about Sam the shoebox. Now, in this book, we have memory verse cards, which are included on the graduation certificate. Before this training, I went ahead and removed the memory verse card and the graduation certificate from the book. And this is very important that you remove both the memory verse cards and the graduation certificate. Now, if you leave these in the book, you may have the children certifying their own selves. You will save these and give to the students a memory verse card each week. The TGJ certificate is for the TGJ graduation event, which we'll talk about in a bit. Your ministry guide contains the same lesson and activities as the student book. Along with this, it has instructions and helpful tips as you, as a teacher, prepare to guide and disciple the children. Just as we demonstrated an outreach event earlier, we want to invite you inside of the Greatest Journey classroom to see a lesson. Man, I'm excited about this. I would like to ask Aliona to join me and to put on her teacher hat. Let us welcome teacher Aliona. I will keep talking to you as ministry partner teams and ask questions and give tips throughout the demonstration so you can prepare.
And I will invite you to step into the mindset of the children and pretend that you are in a TGJ class with me as your teacher. So first, I will go and prepare for my lesson.
Now, as the teacher prepares for the training, they are working through the left side of page 62. Focus on the sections, main idea, story background, prepare and lesson agenda, and what you need.
Oh, hi everyone. I'm so glad you came today to our class. That was so much fun last week, wasn't it? So I have a game for you today. You say your name and then do an action. And then somebody else says the name and repeats an action after you. And the next person will also say their name and do an action until we go through everyone, okay? So I'll go first and you see by my example. My name is Aliona. Do-do-do-do-do.
I love those action games. Every lesson begins with an action game. Why do you think every lesson starts this way? Yes, it helps children to feel engaged and welcome.
Hey kids, last week we went over to the gospel story and we learned about the greater God. We met Jesus and we learned about his death and resurrection and how he invites us to be his friend and a follower. That was such a good lesson and I'm glad you liked it and you came today as well. So I'd like to see and be sure I remember everyone who came today. Okay, and who would like to tell the story from the last week? Mark, okay. And who did you tell the story? To your grandma. I bet she liked that. Oh, yes. And thank you, Esther, for bringing your friend today. That is so nice of you. We are very happy that we have some new kids today. And children, Jesus really did come back to life. And that was a good question. That was a good question. So, and I bet you what, in the next 12 lessons, we will explore some of your questions and we will find out even more about God's rescue plan.
Now, as demonstrated, be sure to take the attendance register every week. Now, why do you feel it is important to note who attends each class? Oh, yes, that is correct. It is part of the report that you will share with our team after graduation. This also helps you to keep a record of which children are part of your class.
And so today's verse is from the book of Genesis. And in Genesis chapter 1, verse 27, scripture says, "So God created a man in his own likeness. He created him in the likeness of God. He created them as male and female." So what I would like for you to do now, guys, find a partner and practice this verse together using the actions I have just demonstrated to you.
Okay, why memory verses are important? Every week has a memory verse. Throughout the lessons, there are lots of creative ways for learning memory verses. Use any method that works for you. Every child will receive a memory verse card, one of these beautiful cards, weekly. They'll be encouraged to practice the memory verse at home and to share the story using this card and the picture of this card with one of their friends. You'll notice here that there's a picture on the card and the memory verse is on the back section. The next section is Psalm story. Oh, my goodness, I love the Psalm stories. These stories can be so exciting. The Psalm story sets the stage for the Bible lesson. Every lesson have a story about Sam experiencing something that is similar to the Bible lesson. This is a great way to use your TGG assistant. They could dress up as Sam and tell the story. Make it fun.
Hey, my little friends, look who's coming today. Hey, look, this is our buddy. That's our Sam. Just wave at him. Hi, Esther. Hi, Mark. Thank you, Sam, for coming. See you later. And we love hearing Sam's stories, don't we, guys? So, apart from the Sam stories, the next game I have for you is called 20 Questions. So that's how it goes. I have an animal I'm thinking about, and you have only 20 questions to try and guess what is it. So, okay, who would like to ask the first question? As always, no, that animal does not live in the water. Nope. No, it doesn't fly. No. Does it bark? Nope. Does that animal roar? Yes. You're right. It does have a mane. Guys, you get it close. Yay! That is a lion. I'm so surprised, guys. It took you only like 5 questions to guess what the animal was. Great job. I have the best class.
Wow, I enjoy the game, and I just enjoy the games in this lesson. Often, there are transition games before the Bible story. It is a quiet game that settles the children and prepares them to listen.
And today, we are going to have so much fun, guys, because this is the story for today. And listen to me carefully. That is really so interesting. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth did not have any shape. Can you believe that? Just picture that in your mind. Just close your eyes for a second. It was empty. See, do you see anything? No, because it's dark as you close your eyes. So that's how it was in the very beginning. There was darkness over the surface. And at that time, the ocean covered the earth, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. And that God said, "Let there be light!" And there was a light. And God saw that the light was good. So he separated the light from the darkness, and God called the light day, and he called the darkness night. Then God said, "Let there be a huge space between the waters, and let us separate water from water." And that's exactly what happened. So God called the huge space sky, and God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered into one place, and let the dry ground appear." And that's exactly what happened. So then God called the dry ground land, and he called the waters that were gathered together oceans. And you see all those oceans? And then God said, "Let the land produce plants, and let them bear their own seeds, and then there be trees on the land, and that they bear fruit with seeds in it." So each kind of plant or tree have its own kind of seeds. And that's exactly what happened. And I just love those little flowers. See, there are so many different colors for every one of us. And then God said, "Let there be lights in the huge space of the sky." Have you seen those twinkling stars at night in the sky? That is so pretty. So then let them separate the day from the night, and let them serve as the signs, mark off the seasons and the days and the years. So let them serve as lights in the huge space of the sky, to give light and the earth. And that's exactly what happened. Then God saw that it was good. And then God said, "Let the waters be filled with living things. Let the birds fly above the earth across the huge space of the sky." And that God saw that it was so good. Do you see those little birdies? And they fly everywhere, right? And then God said, "Have little ones and increase your numbers. fill the water in the oceans, and let there be more and more birds of the earth. Then God said, let the land produce all kinds of living creatures. So God made all kinds of animals. He made all kinds of livestock. And he made all kinds of creatures that moves along the ground. So they're in the water, they're on the ground. And we can see those elephants and giraffes and different colors of fishes, everything what you guys like. Then God said, let us make a man in our own likeness. And that is amazing. Okay, now, repeat the memory verse with me. So God created a man in his own likeness. He created him in the likeness of God. He created them as male and female. And God blessed them, and he said to them, have children and increase your numbers, fill the earth and bring it under your control. So you can rule over the fish in the waters and the birds in the air, rule over every living creature that moves on the ground. Isn't that amazing? God did that all for us, so we would all enjoy this beautiful, beautiful world. And it was so good. So the heavens and the earth and everything in them were completed. And by the seventh day, God had finished the work he had been doing. So on the seventh day, he rested from all of his work. And God blessed the seventh day, and he made it holy. He rested on it. And after he had created everything, he rested from all of the work he had done.
Now, the Bible story is the centerpiece of the lesson. It is important to practice them well so that the Bible comes alive for each child. Remember that you will need to be animated when telling the story, and that you will take enough time to help children understand the story. Now, there's a teacher's dream in this book that I would like to show you. Many of you may have been wondering, how is it that teacher Eleona was able to tell the story so well? Well, I'll show you here and on page 64 in your book that there's the story that was being told. But not just this, the beautiful pictures that you were seeing is on the other page. So if you open the book this way and you flip the page, keeping your finger between it, you will notice that on one side, as a teacher, you have the story, and on the other side, you have those beautiful pictures. But in order to do this well, you will need to practice, practice, practice. Practice telling the story at home. Use your husband, your wife, your children. Use your family. And if you don't have those, or you have a friend at home, he's called your mirror. Make use of that mirror. The mirror is your friend when learning to tell good stories.
So let's talk some more about the story, guys. Who was in this story? Who do you remember was so important in this story? Yes, that was God. And those were humans. You're right. And what did God create on each day? Do you remember? He created light, sky between the waters, yes, land and plants, the giraffes, yes, those dolphins and little fish, yes. You guys been paying a good attention to the lesson. Good job, good job. Yes, he created all those animals. And he created a man. You're so right. Yes, on the sixth day, he created a man. Good job listening. So what does that story tell us about God? What do you think? Who made the world? Yes, God made the world. And yes, God is so creative. He is our creator. And what do you think, what does that say about you and me? What's so interesting about that? How are we all different? Yay, yay, good listening, Mark. People are unique. And out of all the creatures, God made humans. are the only ones that made in the likeness of God, in His image. Isn't that unique? That makes me feel so special. And we are loved by Him. Can you believe that? Can you guys imagine that God that made the whole universe created you in such a unique and special way? And besides that, He wants to have the relationship with you. He wants to be a part with you, to be your friend. And it's such an honor to be loved by God. I just love this story of creation that helps us to understand that God is creative and made everything on purpose. He made everything for you and for me. So how does that feel to be loved by the one who made everything? Now, I would like for you to open your books and read or tell your story to a partner using these pictures.
After each Bible discovery process, there are a few activities to reinforce the points of the Bible lesson. The activities in the ministry guide are the same as those in the children's book. The only difference is that the teacher's version includes explanation of the activities.
And now, guys, I have something very special for you. I would like to give you the memory verse card for this week. And this is a special card that will help you to remember the verse for the week and share the Bible story with your family or friend, like you did last week, right? Like you told the story to your grandma, and that helped you, right? So then you have a special place in your home, and I would like for you to keep this card in your special place. Because if you lose it, I do not have an extra one that I could replace for you. So please take a good care of this card, okay? And if you're already thinking about someone that you would like to tell the story, please draw a picture of them. Or if you do not want to draw, you can just write their names.
Now remember, the memory verse cards are the resource provided to equip the children to share the gospel. Make sure enough time is allowed for the children to practice sharing the Bible story using the card from the lesson. Teachers need to make sure that they separate the Bible verse cards and only hand out the card for that particular lesson.
And now, guys, I would like for you to repeat after me. God made everything good. God made everything good. And everything belongs to Him. Everything belongs to Him. Okay? And God made me to be His child. God made me to be His child.
I'm sure by repeating those points that was just made, you can remember many of the points. This step reinforces the main point of the lesson. This is done as a call and response.
Okay, guys, I would like for you to sit down with me in a circle and one at a time for you to jump and share the things that you really want to thank God for making. And that's such an important time because we can just wrap up our lesson, what we've just learned today, and just see what we remember in our hearts. Yes, we thank God for Him being so creative and that He loves us. Yes, great job, Esther. That is nice. And yes, we thank God for making those trees. And what did you say, Marco? Yes, those animals. Yeah, we thank God for making the animals. So now I would like for us to thank God in prayer. Okay? Please close your eyes and bow your heads. Dear God, thank you for creating an amazing world. Thank you for making people, including me. Thank you for loving me and caring about me. and help me to remember you made everything and are in charge of everything. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
One of the things you've been hearing since the beginning of this training is prayer, 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 and how important prayer is as part of this project. Every lesson ends with a different creative way to engage children with prayer. It is very important to engage children actively in prayer rather than praying yourself while the children just passively listen. Make sure you leave enough time for the children to actively engage in the activity. It is a powerful way to end the lesson. Thank you for a wonderful teacher, Eliona. She did such a great job. We are back fully now in training mode and we welcome any questions you may have. Yes, that's a good question. Does a student have to attend all the TGJ lessons in order to graduate? Very, very good question. A child should complete all 12 lessons to graduate from the Greatest Journey. Now, if a child misses a class or starts after the first lesson, it is possible for the teacher to help the child make up the missed lessons so the child can graduate. Teachers should help children complete all 12 lessons wherever possible.